In this chapter, me, Dimple Pathak, and Sweata Senapati are going to discuss about sock advertising. Here I'm going to talk about sock advertising. What is actually when it comes to sock advertising, we have to know what's the history behind the sock advertising, who first tasted the water of sock advertising, who have done this advertising thing, like shock advertising thing, so in the 90s, there is like 3 4 person, like Marilyn Manson in 19, Alice Cooper in 70s, Howard Stern in his 70s. They like tasted the water of shock advertising. They have that initiated that shock jock phenomenon. They have been very, I think Howard Stern was blending blunt honesty, converting his personal life and no holds barred confrontational approach to his in-house studio guests. Both Manson and Stern achieve high level of success with this approach despite notable resistance of by critics and the public at large. Also, before Monsoon and Strain, a progressive fashion mogul, Luciano Benetton, tasted the water of stock advertising with provocative advertising that caught the attention of public at once. Controversial method of marketing. When it comes to stock advertising, there's like as I told you, there's like two different perspective. One is negative, another one is positive. When stock advertising come to market, it always bring that kind of events, that kind of situation which were basically ignored by the society somewhere. So it kind of bring also the controversial thing to the market, because some advertising done things like that which can be controversial or offensive to the public or the consumers. So, when the today advertising is filled with too many messages and not enough attention by the consumer. Stock marketing is a field of marketing that's provoke, inspire, and stuns the public. Because like we have like lots of advertisement today. Like we have lots of advertisement, lots of marketing slogans, lots of images for promoting stuff. But stock advertising is kind of different. They are not like ordinary. They're kind of extraordinary. They are like they provokes the consumer. They have like bring the offensive kind of thing to the that thing that present to the consumer. So that kind of sometimes it can be like bring the controversial things also. There's like a 2 3 advertisement before, like they're like two people kissing each other, which is like promoted like LGBTQ, the support of LGBTQ, but they are like put two president of different countries, which make a very controversial thing. And another one, at there's advertising Kendall Jenner, Pepsi, when she was doing the Pepsi advertisement, there's like going on some kind of protest going on, and Kendall Jenner come to the police officer and give the Pepsi, and they like shared and kind of things that happen. But that's also bring the controversial thing, like people are going to like what you are making it, why the in between the protests because of the Pepsi people is sharing, and two president of two different countries are kissing, which is not very acceptable by the society. So as I told, stock advertising is widely successful or like unsuccessful. They can be very horribly like very disappointment. But a lot of company doesn't mind to like to take the risk of stock advertising, because sometimes stock advertising really like really help to raise your brand image to the market, and like let people know that your brand exists, what your brand promote. But sometimes it can make people not like your brand, and it can lower the standard of your bands. There's like times that controversial ad companies are shocking is an internalism through a provoking way. A 2012 advertising campaign by Home Office tackles the issue of teen rap in a sensitive manner. It is very hard hitting. The government is concerned that while they know it's wrong, teenagers are not always clear on what constitutes rape. The ad shows a teenage boy watching his own action as an outsider from behind an invisible wall. Nick Clegg said, who is the producer of the advertisement, he said, "We want to bring this issue out into the open and get young people talking about the importance of consent." But this advertisement literally grabbed the attention of public, but it also make like some controversies in the media, because like the government was involved in that situation, because it was by the Home Office, and why they show the rap thing in media and kind of things like that. So there's like very controversy in the marketing due to stock advertising. Here I put like some points about graphic imaginary and blunt slogan, how sock advertisers work on graphic imaginary, and their blunt slogans, how they make slogans. So here's that two example. Star model, the Brazil one, some modeling company of Brazil, star model released. So we all like I already talk how shock advertising grab the attention. So another name of shock advertising, you can say attention getter. Shock advertising always grab the attention of the consumer, attention of the society. Consumer are more likely to remember shocking advertising content over advertising content that is not shocking. But if a consumer finds a certain kind of advertising content threatening or disturbing, the message will be filtered out. An example of a heavy smoker who could be flirting filtering out of a picture of cancer sick lung, since the content could be perceived as disturbing and uncomfortable, but it still grabs your attention, right? When you can say the cigarettes package, there is like throat cancer, or that kind of picture was literally very very not like you cannot watch the picture for too long, but it's always grab your attention, but still people like smoke in case of a cause or an issue, use stock advertising can work by getting the attention of the cause deserve and getting people interested in contributing or working for it. It can be sensitive people to other culture and ways of life, but still causes like child abuses, domestic violence, lunch cancer, age, animal rights have used stock advertising very effectively in their international context. Like they grab the attention of the society, how to like fight for it, how to like quit smoking for not having lunch cancer, violence and AIDS for like better sex and animal rights to not like there's like picture of dogs like beaten by people, their body dead bodies kind of picture they use for their advertising. The Cancer Society of India uses this picture of attempt suicide to convey the message that smoking is an easier way to life and the life than the other method. There's like picture where there like different kind of method to attempt suicide. So it's kind of a shock advertising. It's very very sensitive content in the field of advertising. No, Indian society is very conservative, and there is like we have that kind of casteism, racism. There's like many. When we are very religious country, right? So when it comes to sock advertising in India, it's kindly have that drawback. If you like, you just like people like brand are scared of using like religious term or casteism or racism kind of things to use in their advertising or offensive thing, because like people are not gonna take it very wellly. Like they are not gonna like not accept this fact of advertising, but still there's many companies, many institutions, like I give the example Friends Connection, Jatak, Denver, Dio, Amul Macho, and even condoms, like that man force condom are there having that kind of intimacy videos and ads for promoting their brand, and it's still like sometimes it goes well and sometimes it's not. So there's like this kind of sock advertising in India. Picture of stock advertising in India, which are like featured by celebrities Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, Yuvraj Singh, and Virender Sehwag, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni, which is like attended for the Sahara queue for shopping. The presentation of at the extreme level made the advertising controversial because the message to be conveying in the advertisement was to promote the adulteration-free products offered at the store. But to see the cricketers perform the last rites, the graves evoked a negative response from the audience, because they are like celebrity, and also they are like cricket from the field of cricket, and there's a adults on controversial like adults on war advertising, so it brings like lots of controversy to the media because people are not accepting the ad.
So now I'm going to explain you about the shock advertisement as successful market campaign. Shock advertising is always a gamble, but there are causes that clearly work, like the Centers of Diseases Control and Prevention campaign tips from former smoker raises awareness of the most extreme effect of smoking by profiling real people who are living with serious health effects from smoking or secondhand smoke. Example of starting images shown in this campaign include previous smokers who now have to breathe and talk through a stoma, and smokers who now have a large scare across their stomach after surgery. While these shocking pictures annoy some smokers and actually make them want to light up more, the ad campaign seems to be having mostly positive effect. Then shock ads can be effective depending on the way they appeal to audience feeling. Advertisement appeal to the deepest feeling of fear, guilty, sadness, disgust, etc. So they used to work with the impacts images that usually show the consequences of approaching behavior. um, then shock stimuli influences in a positive way the comprehension of the message and increase retention of them in the viewers. There are many levels of shock advertising. Then intellectual shock, and for lack of the better term, soul shock. Shock factor cause a high impact in people's mind and help to promote changes in their behaviors. Nowadays, shock advertisement are focused on communicates messages which have relation with health problems and its effect. Now, in this slide, I will explain about the threat to the consumers. Threat appeals that cause consumer shock and fear can deliberately startle and offend audience by violating norms or social and personal idols. Threat appeals literature focuses on social taboo using communication campaign examples that illuminate ethical issues. Much literature in this area suggests that high threat level in adverts are detrimental to positive cognitive and effective attitude formation. Excessive threat can alienate consumers, resulting in undesirable beliefs about experimental campaigns. This belief may work to the detriment of the brand. More or social marketing campaign work positively balanced advert are often paused as eliciting stronger, longer lasting attitudes. Further research introduces a more nuanced evolutions. Indeed, research suggests that gathering anxiety has an effectiveness therefore after which positive attitudes deplete. Nevertheless, there are benefits of eliciting negative consumers' emotions through threat based communication because shock and fear capture attention. Despite this long standing debates on the effectiveness of shock appeals, recent meta analytical research suggests that eliciting consumer shock and fear is effective at positively impacting consumers' attitude, attentions, and behavior. Okay, so in this slide, I will discuss about how shock advertisement significantly increase attention, benefits, and memories to the consumers. Many advertisement that suddenly gets our attention due to the presence of nudity, violation of societal norms, disgusting images, sexual references, vulgarity, or moral offensiveness, and turns a normal advertisement into shock advertisement. Shock advertisement creates a huge impact on consumers' purchase and brand images. But this impact may be positive or negative. In Indian society, have not been much gory, so sexual and obscene material in advertisement, so it is easy to shock an Indian audience when they exposed to shock advertisement. But in order to foreign countries, audience have been exposed to shocking advertisements and message for the past 10 years, and now it is hard to shock that audience. Many brands and government organizations are using shock advertising in India for getting attention of viewers. For example, French Connection, Zatak, Denver Dio, Amul Mesho, Cancer Society of India, Bangalore Traffic Police, etc. This article mainly includes uses of shock advertising in India and its various negative and positive impacts. So here are some pictures to show the shocking ads, like the international league against, in the first picture it is shown, it is all about international league against racism and anti-semitism, worked with publicist councils Paris on. Lastly, I want to end with the conclusion. The analysis of the advertisement concept demonstrate that advertising has three major functions: informative or communicative, economic, and social. First, advertising is one of the tools used by both commercial and non-profit making organization to inform a target audience about goods or services, or to highlight social issues. As the purpose of all advertising is to maintain long-term attention to the target audience, to generate an interest, bright colors or unusual images are insufficient. Therefore, marketing specialists are targeting the experiences of consumers reject in regard to the advertising goods, services, and emotions caused by the advertisement object. Positive or negative emotions are evoked by seven major advertising appeals, such as fear, humor, sex, music, rationality, emotions, and scarcity. As the modern consumer is becoming more resistant to advertising, the main purpose of shocking advertising is to draw the attention of the audience to the advertising message. Shocking content are used by both commercial and non-profit making organization. Both commercial and non-profit making organization use seven major shocking appeals: disgusting images, sexual references, vulgarity, impropriety, moral offensiveness, and religious taboos, or combination of these appeals for their advertising campaign. As such, content both helps to draw attention to the advertisement messages and retain it in memory, as well makes audience elaborate on the message. Lastly, here are some questions to solve, and hope you like the video as well. Thank you.